15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto Ron Elvis in the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited for tonight's episode. Season 6 kicks off in earnest tonight. Just shout out to so many people, obviously my co-host, but just shout out to so many people. I'll get to the shout outs in a minute, but I am really happy. Click Clack, we back. Season 6 in the building. You see the hat. Got to show respect to the other team of Buffalo, the Sabres, who have now snapped their 14-year playoff drought. So we'll get to that at the end of the show, but really excited. As always, joining me riding shotgun, my co-host, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Check him out on Instagram and Twitter at Adam Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Holla at the crew, DT. We back, baby. We made it to season 6. We back, baby.
What's up? Rob, Nickel City. What's up, baby? We are back. Season 6. Ready to rock and roll. Beautiful spring ahead of us here. A nice day in the Buff. It hasn't been, but, well, I don't know because I've been in Florida, but we'll get to that later. But nice day today in the Buff. Spring is sprung. The Sabres are around, which is keeping it a weird offseason for us, as we'll get into today, of kind of understanding and not longing football so bad when you got the Sabres to kind of fill your plate. So that's been nice. But 1 week away from the draft, season 6 up. Good to see you again, Rob. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see all Nickel City as well. We're right back into it. Super Bowl year, 2027.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm really excited about this next season coming up for sure. And there's been a lot that has gone on. So quickly, I'll get out some shout outs beforehand. I just want to listen. Shout out to I-86 Network. Those guys over there, my buddy Tom Hujic from high school and Bobby Hansen, those guys are doing a great job. Shout out to Tom. Tom hooked up that open. What did you think of the open, DT?
Wow, that's world, nuts. Man. Yeah, that's beauty right there. That's beauty right there. Our first, we're adding a little each year. We're trying to get a little more, a little more pro, and that looks awesome, man. It kind of encompasses us. The drone shots of the city are great, and kind of gets us in a vibe of what we're about. So I loved it, Rob. It looks great. Shout out to him for sure.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Brandon Richardson as well, a.k.a. Richland, for letting us use Mount Up and has been our theme song for the last couple of years. So we really appreciate those guys for sure. Shout out to Justice General Radford. Salute to the General over at Buffalo Fanbase, the official Bills Mafia podcast network that we simulcast on. Listen, DT, let's just dive into it a little bit. The offseason, I told everybody that we were going to be gone and kind of sitting back, kicking our feet up and watching things. Well, how I am, and how I'm always on the wide receiver train and different things like that. Brandon Beane kicks off the 2026 offseason by making a trade, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I know on Twitter there was definitely some different options and some different viewpoints on it. I'll get to mine second, but listen, Brandon Beane goes out, he gets a proven, established wide receiver to come in and be the Bills' new wide receiver one. I think it's just, there's without debate that he's the best wide receiver the Bills have had since Stephon Diggs. And I don't think that you'll fight me on that. The price was the price. Some people say it was a little bit high. Some people say that it was okay after seeing what Waddle went for. What say you, DT? Because that really kicked off our 2026 offseason with Buffalo Bills, just Brandon Beane making a move, identifying a need, understanding that he can't just sit there and stand pat. He goes out and gets a wide receiver one for Josh.
what did Mr. P say? Yesterday's price is not today's price. And that is,
That's right.
something that is what it is. That this is the move we should have made when we got rid of Stephon Diggs. This was the replacement that needed to happen. The $20 million guy. Stephon Diggs was the $20 million guy. You lose him. We didn't replace him. We tried to bargain it for the last 2 years, and then you saw what we had for it, and there was some shine. Obviously, the offense had the most touchdowns in franchise history, and this and that, and Brandon Beane yelling at GR, and we don't need receivers. But at the end of the day, it came down to Brandon Cooks getting 10 targets in the divisional playoff game, and you lose by a hair, in a game you really got outplayed with 5 turnovers. It is what it is, but it's a game where Brandon Cooks is getting 10 looks in the game that's desperately needed Josh just to be able to go to somebody and get the ball to, and it costs you $20 million to do that. So, that's what it is. That's the going rate. We got off of that mindset of we can't pay anybody else because we pay Josh Allen all this money. Like, so does 20 other teams in the league for real. And that's something we had to move forward. So I'm glad we did it. Yes, he's not the freshest tool in the shed. He's not the best one, out there by any means. But I think with the pool of what was available, he made it work. And being, yes, a second-round pick, but everyone was bitching we didn't pay the first-round pick for Jalen Waddle earlier in the year at the trade deadline. And I put DJ Moore pretty comparable to pretty comparable to Jalen Waddle. If you're putting apples and oranges in, you can't convince me too much or the other that one is extremely better than the other. So we got that Waddle move we wanted back on the trade deadline. We paid a second-round pick for him after the season. Didn't help us, obviously, through that playoff run or anything like that. But he's here now and definitely the best player on this receiving room team. And hopefully it brings out more in other receivers on this squad. I mean, we were rolling with the same receiver room anyway going in, so now we add an obvious upgrade to it. Can't be upset with it. Any second round pick we're going to get this year, I'm still picking I'm still picking DJ Moore. So it is what it is. We got to pay the price we got to pay to get a player in that everybody saw we needed. Everybody's been bitching about we needed. Brandon Beane obviously knew it as well. 10 targets in the divisional playoff game to Brandon Cooks just wasn't it. So you got to bring a guy like DJ Moore in. Yes, statistics, he didn't have a great year last year, but he's in a budding room where somebody like Caleb Williams, who's going to be a budding star in this league, is just trying to find open receivers. Yeah. And he's got a good young guy in Roma Dunze. He's got a good up-and-comer in Luther Burden. He's got a great tight end in Loveland.
Getting all the targets.
It's a full room, and it was just he threw Ben Johnson through to who was open. It wasn't anything that I don't think that DJ Moore was least productive or anything along those lines. Yes, he is getting older. He might have lost a little step, but he's proven he can be productive still. And when the game was on the line a few times down the stretch, they went to him and he delivered. That great touchdown to beat the Packers there in overtime was amazing. And and he doesn't miss games. Very similar to what your Stephon Diggs was for you a couple years ago. Doesn't miss games, coming in, gonna be a stud. And we paid the premium. We didn't pay $40 million. It's not a Jamar Chase. It's not a Justin Jefferson. But we paid the $20 million guy, and that's who he is. He's the Jalen Waddle. He's the DJ Moore. He's that type of player. So I'm cool with it. It needed to happen, and I only think it helps.
Yeah, that last part that you talked about is really where I was coming at it from my perspective on Twitter. I love to box on Twitter with folks. And after it happened, everybody was, complaining, I can't believe you gave him a second rounder, this and that. And my thing was exactly what you alluded to, DT. Name the second round pick that was going to come in here this year and be a contributor and be ready to go. I think that if anything, Keon Coleman should have taught us something. It should taught us that
second round pick.
You need to let these guys, these young guys develop. You know what I mean? Like that, the biggest thing and the most egregious thing that I had a problem with Brandon Beane not replacing Stephon Diggs at the time was that you needed to be drafting guys like Keon Coleman or whoever years before Stephon Diggs was even out of the building, or even before you had to trade him or whatever, the Twitter shit, all that type of stuff. You should have been grooming somebody. It's a lot of pressure to come into a situation like the Bills where you're drafting late in the draft, a team that's got playoff expectations, Super Bowl aspirations, and you got to come in and you got to be a professional and you got to get up to speed, learn the playbook, and then contribute on the field. I think that that's way harder than a lot of us give credence to. So for me, the second round pick, I really didn't give a shit because there was no way that a second round pick I expected to be DJ Moore's production. And that's exactly why I was okay with the Diggs trade and I was okay with this trade. Yes, it was a big price and it was a heavy price with that second round pick. And then you got to pay him that $25 million or whatever it is. Listen, like you said, Clip, listen, the price is the price. You got to pay it. I'm really okay with it because of the production. I know that this guy plays. I love that point that you talked about. When I looked up, I was like, damn, he doesn't miss any game. 16. Then they switch to 17. He's playing all 17. So I really love it. And then the last component, to me, and I could be, rose-colored, and maybe I'm just trying to hope and a wish. He's back with Brady. He had good years in Carolina with Joe Brady. And Joe Brady knows.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, man. He's back with Brady. So Brady knows how to utilize this guy. He's not slow. He's not a burner, but he's not slow or anything like that. So I think he's got plenty of juice left. He wins on the outside, correct separation. And hopefully, maybe if you draft a guy earlier, and we'll talk about that in our draft preview at the second half of the show. But maybe if you draft another guy that's a speedy guy, then you could take a little bit of pressure off him and let it be more of a possession receiver as well. So for me, there was all positives, not many negatives in respects to what he brings to the team. Yeah, is he going to live out the entire contract? Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that for next year, the year after, we need a guy to be ready for Josh Allen. And I was not interested in the rookie coming in and give him that kind of pressure because pressure bust pipes. We saw what happened with Keon. Not that every prospect is going to be like Keon and be a professional like he is or lack thereof. But, I just think that it's a lot to ask of a rookie.
Yeah, and I mean, who else? What were your other options, right? Obviously, we traded for DJ Moore, so technically it could have been anybody, right? But in that free agent pool, you're looking around, and it's Mike Evans. Would love it, love Mike.
Muted yourself. No, I like Mike Evans, and he got a nice deal from San Francisco. I like
just
that.
Muted myself.
But so he's old. He's old,
and, yes, he's still churning out 1,000-yard seasons, but this might be a year rental type of situation. I think DJ Moore gives us at least a couple years, in that regard. You got a Wan'Dale Robinson who went to the Titans for more than $24 million a year. I
didn't want to pay the Jalen price. I'll tell you that. I didn't want to pay what Denver paid. I know why they paid it because they think that they're on the cusp too. I didn't want to pay that for Waddle, and I like Waddle, and he's fast.
So the cards were out, and DJ Moore was he might not have been the ace of diamonds, but he was a king of hearts. He was still a face card with what was out there, and still going to play the same for you when you flip those cards over, right? So that's how I was. It's not like we completely ignored somebody else to go throw a second round pick at DJ Moore, but it is what it is. We got him. I like the price. He's going to be good for us. It just proved to me that Brandon Cooks getting all that burn coming in late in the year, getting all that burn, we just needed that guy, and that guy that Diggs was for us, that he could just go to, might be the difference of every year. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but the game of inches, and we lose by the inch every year. And if we can just get somebody to get us where we don't need the inches, where we're ahead by the mile, so we don't need the inch. Nice. He could out catapult that and get 17 in a role where he doesn't have to do it all, and give him that nice security blanket, getting a little older too. So. Yeah, let's rock. Team DJ Moore, switch to number 2. Let's go.
I'm down with it, man. Yeah. Now, staying on the offensive side of the ball before we talk about defense, not really much else done on the offensive side of the ball. They did add some depth. We saw that they brought back Connor McGovern on a nice little team-friendly deal. He did. Really? I guess apparently Josh Allen made a call to Brandon Beane or whoever and told them, do not let both of them leave the building. I want my center preferably. So they were able to get him back, and they got, after looking at what Tyler Lindenbaum got, out there in the market or with Oakland or with the Raiders. I mean, and that's a cheap deal for McGovern. So we bring him back. I think it was only $13 million or so. So that's definitely manageable compared to what these centers are blowing up for now. They did sign a couple others. I think Cushenberry, who's a backup center, who could also play center and maybe play some guard if they need so. And then Austin Corbett as well. So just getting some depth just in case Alec Anderson is not ready for that left guard position. We'll see. I mean, obviously we've got Cybo, who coming into the last year, that type of thing of his rookie deal. So we'll see how things go with that. Switching to the defensive side of the ball, another, I guess, lightning rod. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but everybody had an opinion. Brandon Beane goes out, signs Bradley Chubb, and everybody wants to say that he's washed, and that we paid, too much or whatever the case may be. I thought that the money was reasonable. I think that the risk is the risk because of the fact that he does have injury history. He quietly played last year for Miami. He did not miss much time last year, and he was quietly productive for a shitty team. So to me, I expect them to address it in the draft, DT. But I'm not mad that they picked up Bradley Chubb. They're looking for juice. They've been looking for juice. There is definitely some risk with his injury history, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I guess it's bringing some other guys to go around with him, but we're not. So he's not just the guy that we're depending on. He's not Von Miller signing, but hey,
well, he is though. He is.
Well,
I mean,
you know what I mean.
Well, we're not depending on him as much. Correct. It comes in a little different points of their career, but it's the same exact move. It's that move, that veteran pass rusher to come in and get you that 12 sacks a year and be there for those finishing plays down the stretch. And we have yet to get there. I mean, with Von Miller, started off good, got hurt. Then we went with Leonard Floyd, who had a great year, but wasn't there in the playoffs. Not that it was his fault or anything, but he wasn't the finisher in the playoffs we needed. Joey Bosa had an up and down year, had some sparks this year, but again, when push came to shove, it's third and a mile. It's third and a mile in the divisional game. We need you to get to the quarterback, to Bo Nix, so they don't convert on third and forever and go down and beat us, and they do. So again, that's not just Joey Bosa, but this is that spot we've been trying to fill the last 4 years. That same exact mold, of that veteran star. And it went Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and then into Bosa, and now it's Chubb. So I think out of the four, he's just as equivalent, like when he stands up to what's going on, as the four of them did, just as productive in his career now, if not more. He definitely was more productive now than Joey Bosa was last year. He definitely is more productive now than, Leonard Floyd did have a good couple years, got a contract, and went, had a decent year in San Fran too. But it's the injury risk. Joey Bosa was not supposed to play a lot. He ended up playing a lot. So, yes, I think we need to address that and fill that, like you said. But I like the signing, but I don't want to just get into, well, we need him for late in the year, and then he's playing every down on a week 8 game, to like Joey Bosa did that one day, played 90% of the snaps. And it is what it is. So it's the move we've been making, which I agree with that move. It's the same exact move we've been making the last 4 years, and I agree with that. But I do think we need to fill that back end because it's the fantasy we're trying to fulfill. I just don't think is realistic. Like, yes, he can be there and be a playmaker later in the year for us, whatever. But we just have never been able to get there because I think they are playing a lot during the year when they shouldn't be, and then and they're not as productive as the season rolls on. So I think this might give him a little extra juice. He was a top pick. He's been around the league a little bit. Hey, this is literally my chance to win a ring. He knew he wasn't going to get that. Even in his early days in Denver, they didn't have the promise like they were. I think they went through Paxton Lynch was their starter at one point. He was the star. He was the star defensive end there. So he knows this is his chance. It's a little different than Bosa, I think. Of Bosa with the 1 year deal of like, I can go, if I have a decent year, I can go get a decent contract.
And parlay this.
I think it's a little different than that with a multi-year deal of like, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm coming to Buffalo. We're going to try to win a ring, and that's going to be it for me. So I liked it. I hope there's some fire involved with that. I think we saw a little bit of that with DaQuan Jones over the past couple of years. Somebody kind of coming in a little lower on, coming down on their career and got a little jump with a good team and ended up being somewhat productive for a couple of years. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at most of. It's not going to be that pop. We didn't bring him in to give us, the stack record. But, we did bring him in for significant money, and we've been doing the last 4 years, we've been doing the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I do understand. I argued with a couple of people on Twitter around when that signing happened, and I know I get the injury part, and I know his knees have been, torn up and then re-put back together. I get it, but I just think that it's a situation where you need some juice. There were a lot of, there were some veterans on the market, and then some of them got paid a lot more than what Chubb got paid. So, you got to figure out what you want to do with cost and things like that. And obviously Brandon Beane's always up against the cap recently, so he had to finagle some things. So, hey, I'm okay with it. As long as you're not going to just rely on him. And when we do our draft coverage coming up, we'll talk about defensive end, because edge rusher is going to be something that you're going to have to address for sure. Because obviously you can't rely just on Chubb and Rousseau. Now, to round out the defense, DT, offseason moves, my favorite, CJ GJ, I mean, like I'm down with Chauncey. Listen, man, the cat is a dog, to be honest, and I love the intensity, and to me, we need more assholes on this team, and I'll say it just like that. We need more assholes on this team. We need guys that are tough to play against, guys that the opponents don't want to go up against. Period. I know that we got a lot of nice guys, and I know that. That was a big thing of McDermott and culture and stuff like that. But where's the guy that's going to strike fear into the defense? Where's the guy that's going to make somebody, stutter when they go over the middle, things like that? And I'm not talking about, Ronnie Lott hits and stuff like that, but I'm just talking, because the NFL's changed so much. But just a guy, a dog, a presence on the field that's going to be there. Now, I heard that he likes to chirp. He likes to talk. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. Gary Payton, one of my favorite basketball players all time, was, the glove, but he was always talking shit, getting in people's heads, that type of thing. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the guy that chirps it up on the field. They said that Josh chirps it up on the field, always talking shit to people. So we got to be okay with that type of thing. I think that this kind of guy can be a culture setter and a tone setter on that type of on that side of the ball with the defense. I'm all in favor of it. I loved it. I don't know what you think about him. I know that he's kind of polarizing. He's been jumping around just a little bit most recently, but he's got a Super Bowl ring with Philly. They loved him out there. It wasn't really a situation where they got sick of him. He goes to Houston. I guess he didn't like his role, so he was making a stink about it, stuff like that. He's not going to sign here if they didn't already tell him what his role is going to be. If Jim Leonard didn't already bring him here, if he doesn't have a defined role and he knows what's going to happen, and where he's going to be lined up, that type of thing. I'm all the way down with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like I'm ready to go, man. I'm down with it.
When he got released, it was like it was weird point of the year. And I think teams are just grasping him up because he was kind of a brand name, and teams are just grasping him up, and then they they get that with the the Texans pick him up. We got him here. We don't really know what we're gonna do with him. Oh, because we got Jamarcus Ingram from the Bills. But goes to Chicago. Has a decent year. I love it. I agree with that 100%, Rob. I know sometimes we like to have differing opinions, but I'm all for that. We're, back to the Stephon Diggs type of vibe, but we can't be afraid of an asshole on this team. Like, we need some assholes. We need people. And now you just got to channel it correctly, right? Be the asshole to make us work harder, to, don't be selfish. Don't do those things in that regard. But, dad left. Sean McDermott's out, man. We can, we can leave, we can leave the fridge open a little longer now. We can, turn the TV up a little louder. Dad left, and still the same squad's in. So go out there and I love it. Let's hit some people, establish that. I mean, that rotating door we had in the back. Finally, Cole Bishop started to have some decent burn in the fact of like coming into his role, and then we just had to fill that other role, and I think he's going to be a big person to do that. I mean, better than anything we had, and all the experiments we were messing with, and moving Trey White there, whatever the case, to do that. In this defense, positionless football, as you said, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be something we don't see, and I'd like somebody a little more physical if they're going to be up and get in that box a little more in that safety zone, not just be a far deep safety, in coverage. The safety position has changed a little more of that Ed Reed style up in that box and punch you in the mouth. So he's the guy. He's been proven to do that. He can do that, and I like that intensity he's bringing, to the defensive side of ball of hunting the ball and team defense of being hunters, and I think he's gonna fulfill that duty. So decent signing there, super cheap.
Yep.
A situation of I was kind of upset we didn't even try. Who knows if we tried to go after him last year when that whole happened and Houston got him, and then he ended up with Chicago, and we didn't, and we obviously needed safety help, and we didn't go after him. So I wanted him then. I'm happy with him now, and it's a spot that needed filled.
Yeah, no, it did need filling, and I'm down with it. Like I said, I like the intensity of just the dog mentality. I think that there's something to be said about somebody that makes being uncomfortable. Again, we always talked about it ad nauseum with 14. Being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. It's not always something like that, like where it's got to be contentious. It's just a situation where he's going to raise the level. He's going to demand a certain type of thing from his teammates back there on the defense, and I'm down with it, man. D. Alford picked up as a replacement for Teron Johnson. They pick up Geno Stone, back in the safety room, and then they bring back DeMar Hamlin. And that's pretty much it on defense, DT. It's kind of been a little bit spot and go, a little bit touch and go in respects to what Brandon Beane's plan has been. And I think that it kind of leads us into the fact that the draft should be heavy defense, and I think it probably will be because of that. But D. Alford comes in. He's got some some position flexibility. He can play both roles in the nickel and can slot to safety if you need him, or outside corner in a pinch. I like that signing. He's fast. He's twitchy, that type of thing. Not the biggest guy, but he's twitchy. He's a willing tackler. And then, Geno Stone, I know he gets a lot of shit from Cincinnati, but just listen, they're filling out the roster. They need guys. They need bodies for camp. Yeah. Who knows if he even sticks on the roster, but him and DeMar are back there in the safety group. So we'll see what goes on there. But, just to kind of fill out the roster, Brandon Beane made moves. Well, he made
yeah, I mean, that with Taron Johnson gone, we had to fill that D. Alford spot. And kind of the vibe I got from him was the Atlanta base was very similar to like the Taron Johnson Buffalo base. Like a couple years ago, we would have been like, oh, this Taron, not a lot of people know about Taron Johnson, but he is positionless. He can go in. He's elite in that slot coverage and kind of, does things you don't know about on the field and we like him a lot. He wasn't a brand name, but he was obviously liked a lot. And I feel like that was the thing with D. Alford. Like I had to look him up obviously when we got him, but then kind of messaging boards and the Twitters of the world were, Atlanta fans were like, damn, that's a steal. Like and they were kind of talking about him like we were talking about Taron Johnson a couple years ago. Right. So I think that's a clean swap at that position. And then, like you said, the rest we're just filling out the roster. We need bodies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, as we transition to the draft coverage, tonight's episode is presented by Buffalo Fanbase, the official Bills Mafia podcast network that DT and I simulcast on, along with I-86 Network that we also simulcast on. So listen, we appreciate all of those guys in the support. See the guys out. We see you guys out there in the Twitter space and Facebook space. I see y'all, man. I appreciate all the support. I know DT does as well. DT, draft coverage. We are admittedly, we put our hands up before. We are not draft nerds. That is not a shot at anybody that is. Draft season is really one, it's its own industry. We talk about that every year, how it's just like a cycle and everybody, they love it, and the mock drafts and things like that. So no shade or anything like that. We just don't get really into all the nitty gritty. What are some of your impressions? Because for me, I think that it's probably trade down. Everybody that I hear says that this draft is weak and there's not a lot of top end blue chippers. And it's kind of like a more of a middle rounds draft. I think that the Bills will be wise to try to pick back up that second round pick. I don't want to see them stretch at 26 for somebody that may not fit the bill. Maybe you feel different, but some of the names that I'm hearing, Caden McDowell, who is McDonald or something like that. I think it is the defensive tackle from Ohio State. I hear a lot about Cassius Howell, who's I guess another short-armed, but he's a bendy defensive end coming out of Texas A&M. I don't really know. Wide receiver, we all love Casey Concepcion. We've seen the highlights. We've seen how fast he is. We know that he can help this team. I don't think that he's going to be there at 26 to really be around to snatch up. I do not want to trade up. DT, we've got a lot of holes to fill on this defense. We've got some stuff to kind of stack around Jim Leonard's defense. That's me. I would be okay with a trade down and recouping some picks, because if everybody keeps telling me that this draft is not top heavy and it's not that great, then you might just want to have some more darts to throw at the board.
Yeah, I have trouble. I have trouble following that though, right? Like, not a lot of blue chippers in the fact of like we're seeing that across the college football landscape in general. A lot more parity. Indiana University won the national championship this year, right? Right.
And guys are staying in with NIL.
They were the worst. Now. They were the worst team in college football history. Like 2 years ago, right?
No, they are.
So yeah. So
they've got the most losses ever. In this year of college football.
Right. So it's like. It's tough for me to like just agree with that narrative right out of the gate. Like, oh, there's no blue chippers up front. It's like, I just feel like it's a lot more saturated now. So like they're meaning, yes, you can find a blue chipper in later rounds. It's kind of under the radar. Sure. But my fact is last year defensive, how many picks did we go defensive? 6 out of 8.
The first 4 were all defense.
And 6 out of 8. And like I mean, realistically got almost zero production out of that. I mean, Deion Walker, okay.
Yeah, he was. Rookie team.
TJ Sanders battled all year. The
Jackson got hurt.
Yeah, yep. London Jackson hurt. Like, it's just
Mad Max got hurt before the year started.
Yep. Exactly. And so we didn't get a ton of production out of that.
Injuries,
of course you can't. But it just like to commit, like, okay, I gotta draft 12 people, I gotta draft 12 defensive players. And we're just not seeing the production. Like, we got the pipeline there. I like I like staying at 26, like, and just for the name of it, like, all right,
Okay.
it's a first round pick. It's a first
Okay.
round pick, and I like that pressure on that player. Like, I want you to be a first round pick and
But
know you're a first round pick.
what if he's not that good though?
Well, then
And then
you're done.
he just got drafted in the
You're
first
Kyrie
round.
Elam, and we see it. It is like it's what are you getting for the 26th? Last when we moved out of what was it 28 to get to Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
What did we
It
actually
wasn't
get out of that?
not
Like an
much.
extra fifth or something?
Yeah, not much because we
Like
traded
when it
down
all
twice.
came down, we did get the first pick of the second round,
Right, and we
obviously,
traded down twice because we traded with Carolina
to
a second time.
get that, and then you got an extra late round pick. Like I just don't like. I like the name brand of that 26. Take a 20, the guy at 26,
Best
and put the
player
pressure
available.
on them to
Let's
be
get
the first
BPA.
round pick. And if they don't work out, they don't work out. Like, it just, why give the excuse? Oh, well, they're a third round pick. We didn't have we didn't pick till the third round, so they're a third round pick, so they're not going to be a good. Like, why give that excuse? Like, I want you to be a first round talent. We picked you at 26. You need to be a first round pick. Like,
Ah.
so I like that route of staying put, and also I'm going to be well. I guess the Sabres are going to have a playoff game that night, so it really won't matter. But bitch about stay up late, stay up to pick 26, and then they trade out, and you don't even see them. That's annoying too. But the receiver thing, you mentioned it earlier in the show, Rob, and you
What's
talked
that?
about when Stephon Diggs was going to go out the door, we needed to have somebody like Keon Coleman drafted a year before that, 2 years before that. Like, we need to start getting ahead of this train. So we do have that T. Higgins roll through. We do have that guy where we don't have to pay him for 5 years and he's a playmaker in the league. Like, that's going to need to happen. So I like that of the receiver action in
round one.
If conception is there, somebody of that stature is there, take the receiver to kind of build that pipeline in. Like, we got to get ahead of it. Yes, we might not need it like this second, but I think it's going to be beneficial to the team of give Allen another weapon and make it happen in that regard. But I want to stay at 26 for the name brand purpose. I want to put the pressure on this cat, and really, I would prefer that receiver realm to get ahead of it, like you said. Like, that third, fourth, fifth round receiver guy, it's tough seeing him make this roster with this room. There's still a lot of guys in this room. He'll
make if you draft a guy in the third round, he's gonna make the team. I mean, he's a third round pick. He'll make the team. I have listen, you're never gonna have to convince me to give Josh Allen more weapons. You know who you're talking to. Like, I'm the one that says fucking score 40. So I'm down. I'm always down to give Allen more weapons. And I have no problem with it. I just don't think that I just don't know that much about the wide receiver class to know if there's anybody that's worthy of it. If Concepcion is not there, I think he fits perfectly with what the Bills would want to do because of his speed and because of some of the things that he could bring to the field. I've watched some highlights on him today at work. But after him, if he's not around, you're not trading up for Tate or Mekhi Lemon or something like that. You're not doing that. That's irresponsible. So if you're sitting there at 26, what are you doing? You're drafting Denzel Boston. You're drafting somebody that doesn't. I guess my fear is that you draft somebody that is not worthy of it. So I understand what you mean about pressure, but that pressure works both ways. Now This kid comes in. He's the first round pick. Even though you didn't really think that he was, but you stretched and you got him. Now he's got a lot on his plate where if it's a second round pick or if it's a third round pick, he might have a little bit more of an opportunity to kind of ease into this thing. You get that big boy from Georgia State in the third round, and you get a chance to like ease this guy into the role. So for me,
but then I see the ease in guy, the ease in guy, the Justin Shorters, the ease in guy, right. And how many
big is like an investment? That's an investment.
I know, but how many offseasons? It took Tyrell Shavers 6 years to make the roster.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He was. I don't even know if he was drafted.
I know.
I don't know. It's not like it's Caden Prather. Like they drafted all defense last year. Drafted Prather like the last pick, 7th round. Nobody expects anything from that. So like, a guy like Shavers has found money to me. So I'm not expecting that. I think if you draft a guy in the 3rd round, he should make the team and he should contribute. It may not be week 1 that he's contributing, but let him go through the rookie pains, let him get that kind of stuff out the way, and maybe by Thanksgiving he's contributing to the team. He's a part of the rotation, that type of thing. So that's all I meant by that. But I mean, I expect a defense heavy draft, DT. I really do. I know that you may not like that. There's not really many holes, to be honest, on offense. I know that they've talked about guard. You better not draft a fucking guard at 26. I will lose my shit. Like, don't do that. They don't pay guards enough money to draft him in the 1st round. You can get a guard anywhere. And that's like a future need. Don't have to tackle because you're worried about Deion Dawkins and how much more. Like I'm trying to get a parade right now. So I'm totally down with grabbing a receiver if you want. But I do think that a guy on the edge, if whoever you like the best, if you find a guy that you like the best, whether it's Howell or I'm hearing a lot of stuff about a couple of guys. Listen, if you find your guy and he's an edge rusher, you're not going to hear me talk shit. I just think that Brandon Beane most likely, in my mind, is going to try to find a way to trade down. Now, you need a partner. You can't just trade with yourself. So I understand how that works. And I think that if he has to stay put, then he'll stay put, DT. But between round 1 and round 3, it's a long stretch. I don't know if Brandon Beane can sit on his hands that long.
Yeah, no, I agree, and
or want to sit on his hands that long.
Sure,
I guess I should say.
Sure. Yeah, I just want that guy, that playmaker to come in. I just want that playmaker.
DT wants Roger Goodell at the podium saying with the 26th pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Okay, no problem. And you're right. There is pressure, and you're right that doesn't really matter. But I think that sometimes if you overdraft, then you just put the kid in a bad situation. That's all. Not that he can't be successful, but if you really thought he was a late,
but that's what I'm saying. You put it. We overdrafted Kyrie Elam and needed him to start today, right? If we draft a receiver at 26, they will have time to ease into it because the room is full, right? So there will be time, and that's what I like about that. There isn't it.
I can see it's okay.
You draft too early on some. You need them to start tomorrow, and they can't. Keon Coleman, is a good example. And they can't start tomorrow. Then they get bust territory pretty quick, right? And
yeah, but you need picks. He doesn't have a second. We know Brandon Beane loves those second round picks. It's I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Listen, you need a nose tackle. You talked about Deion Walker. I heard a lot of things about this Caden McDonald guy. Deion Walker is not a true nose tackle. He's big as a polar bear, and I get it, but he's not a true nose tackle. Don't take away from his abilities and the things that make him special by sticking him in there and trying to make him Ted Washington. He is not Ted Washington. So I wouldn't be mad if it's a defensive tackle. I wouldn't be mad, obviously, if it's a receiver. And if it's an edge rusher, then I want that guy to be able to do I want him to be able to do more than just bend around the edge. I heard that Cassius Howell can bend around the edge, but can he stop the run? Can he set the edge? We saw Joey Bosa and stuff like that last year having some difficulties with that. So, I don't know. That's why I don't get into the draft thing, man, because I have too many opinions and then I get myself confused. So listen, man, draft who you're going to draft. I'll look up his highlight tapes afterwards. Now, DT and I will be back next week for the recap, like you talked about, DT. We'll be right in the middle of the Sabres. And then after that first round pick, hopefully for DT's sake, we'll be here next week and be able to talk about whoever they decided to pick. As we transition, DT, I think that before we get to the tailgate report, we would be remiss, one Buffalo, to not acknowledge what has gone on with the team downtown, man. The Buffalo Sabres, man. Shout out to the Sabres, because I know that you've got some opinions on this as well. I've been a Sabres fan my whole life as well. Now, it's not the fandom, as you can see behind me. It's not the same. It's not the same as the Bills, but I want their success the same. I'm Buffalo born and raised, 716 baby. I want the Sabres to be successful. The drought for them felt just as shitty as the drought that it did for the Bills. I mean, it's humiliating. The players, you worry about the good players wanting to leave, all that type of stuff. So I really did feel for the diehard Sabres fans like I am a diehard Bills fan. So I've got nothing but love and respect and great things to say about it, man. It has been really fun. You already know, DT. My middle king, Nate, is a hockey fanatic. He loves it. He played a couple seasons down here in Charlotte. He is eating this shit up like ice cream. He cannot wait. He showed me some Sabres hype video the other day. And like, listen, man, he is really ready to get going on this whole thing. So I'm excited, DT. The Sabres, 14 years. What I used to always tell people with the drought, I said, 17 years is a long time to wait for anything. I don't care if it's some money that's owed to you. I don't care if it's for an apology from a motherfucker that did you wrong. I don't care what it is. 17 years is a long time. It's the same, DT. 14 years is a long time. I know the fans have been through hell with this franchise. They came out, man. And it's awesome that it came out in a year where you didn't really expect it. It's been pretty fun to watch, man. It's
awesome. It's awesome. It's what I mentioned earlier in the show of the way this offseason of football has been so different. It's when the Super Bowl happens, okay, I'm good on football for a while. In the last years, it's been after Bill's gut-wrenching loss, and I watched the Super Bowl kind of out of spite, and then then I can kind of forget about ball for a while, and and then right around combine, okay, I think about it, but then draft starts coming up and I start looking in and I'm looking at videos. And then this year, we got the new stadium videos and is Josh Allen having his kid yet? All this shit rolling around. And you get back into like, okay, I can't wait. And you're counting down the days till the schedule comes out. And then you're counting down the days till training camp. And then in training camp, you're reading the practice notes every day. And it just seems like I'm 2 months behind on all this. Like I am not like, yes, I miss ball. I can't wait till we're in that opener in that new stadium and 17 rolls out on the field and we're back, of course. But I haven't thought about it a quarter of as much because of the Sabres' success.
That's right.
Like
that's true.
I never was watching. Right. Yeah, you'd follow the Sabres games. You look at them, you check them on your phone afterwards to see if they won or lost. You kind of follow their record, but you weren't like, I'm watching every single game right now. Like it's must see TV. They fight, they score a ton of goals. They're quick. They got some sass to them. When they're home, the roof is coming off the place.
Yeah, man, that's like been so fun to listen to.
It's completely it's must see TV, and it's really kind of bogged up the football offseason, which I love. Like if this was if they make a run, they could run all the way out into the June month. And then we'd literally only have a couple weeks until actual training camp starts. So they could literally take us right in, to the show, and wouldn't that be something, right? But it's awesome. It's good for the city, Rob. I'm, really obviously I'll tell you how much I love Sunday mornings and game days and coming out on the porch and taking that air and just seeing all the flags out and going to Wegmans and seeing everybody in their Bill stuff. The same for the Sabres right now, man. It is like people have always said, oh, it's a hockey city. It's a hockey city. Like, hockey I don't know if I'm all in on that. I don't know if I'm all in on that because if the Bills won the bowl, it's going to be a whole different
But this is not the time to have that debate. But this is not that time. Yeah,
but it is, the fans show out, and there's loyal people that have been there through each year, just like in the Bills Mafia drought. That's the same deal. They've been there through the drought, and then they've been there and they talk shit. Of course, everybody wasn't positive through the 14 years. Why would you be? And now they've paid their price, and they're going to get to see the benefit from it. And I'm obviously a Sabres fan as well. I'm not a diehard. I came into it late. I didn't live as much as the Bills were my whole life. The Sabres were a little later, and then they weren't good when it came time for me to like kind of be on my own and look around, and they weren't good. So it was never a thing. When I moved to Buffalo 7 years ago, I got season tickets. And it was fun. It's fun going to the arena. All it's fun going, but then when they stink, it just turns into a hassle. 40 games is a lot, and there's a lot of involved, and it's just whatever. And then last year, you couldn't give tickets away. Zach, my old roommate Zach, was literally working for the Sabres and texted me all the time, like on a Tuesday night, hey, I got 4 club level tickets on the aisle.
Yeah,
food and drink included. And I'd be nah, no. And now it's like, it's similar to a Bills game atmosphere when you walk in there in the crowd, and it's, a lot more condensed. I started really, I've been blessed to go to a decent amount of games since this run kind of started. And, the difference of me sitting in my season ticket when there was 45 people in the stands to, it cramped in there and it's rolling and it's loud and, the crowd's into it the whole game. And, it's awesome. It's an awesome place to be. That arena is going to be a tough place to win. If you're Boston coming in this week, I'll tell you that, because it's not. These people are hungry, man. These people are hungry and they're loud and they love like. There's a lot of Buffalo people that love just joining as well, right? Like it happened with the Bills Mafia, and I was never somebody to be like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon fan." Nah, you want to join. Like all
Come
good.
On, man.
Like
it's all good.
Get on this with us.
So
I don't care if you're bandwagon or not. The whole city's coming together. The one qualm I do have, Rob, the party in the plaza. Party in the plaza.
They switched it to Canal Side, right?
They're moving it down to Canal Side. It's probably 2 miles away, down on the water, all by itself.
But it's to fit more people, DT.
I get it. But like that was the whole point. Like they show you show the drone shot outside the arena, and you got 2,000 people out there, on Sunday that have been drinking since 9 a.m. And and they're going to be out and they'll be out on the water too, but I don't know. I just want
the Canal Side didn't exist the last time that we were just talking about a pre-show. Like when they played the Flyers, the Canal Side wasn't even around. So I don't be an old man. Get off my lawn, guy. You fit more.
Well, I want to
people
get
in.
on the lawn. That's the problem. Yeah,
Listen, they're going to have food trucks, shit like that. They're going to have probably a huge projector, if not more than that, on that little stage that they've got there. So I'm down. Listen, we got to progress, man. We're moving into a new Buffalo. We got to progress and kind of embrace that. They can have two parties if they want to have two parties, but let more people enjoy it. Yes, you're absolutely right. The party in the square, like that shit was iconic. I remember those types of events and stuff like that and seeing it. I was obviously down here in Charlotte still, but I remember seeing it on the TV. And you're absolutely right. It's the same. They do that around the NHL. Most of them, most of the teams will have something similar. But Canal Side is a nice venue. DT, come on, man. It's like water, food trucks. Come on, let everybody stretch their legs out, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
listen,
but it's awesome. It's great. I mean, you see it now, and Josh Allen, right? Who's Josh Allen when the Sabres are rolling this good? Then that's
they're amped up. I'm amped up for them. Like that's the one thing. That's what I mean when I say one Buffalo, and I love that you said that one point about the bandwagon thing, because to me, like, we're all like, I am going to be happy as a pig in shit if the Sabres win a Stanley Cup. Like, are you kidding? Now I wouldn't get in my car and drive up like I will if the Bills win the Lombardi. The Bills win the Lombardi, I'm literally going to bed, and then the next day I'm driving up on that Monday to be ready for Tuesday, or Wednesday, whenever they decide the parade is. So that's where my level of fandom is. But I'll be happy as hell for the city of Buffalo and for the Sabres fans if they win the cup. Are you kidding me? And that can happen at any point in time. So I love that you said that you're not poo-pooing anybody that's coming along for the ride, and we shouldn't, man. We're one Buffalo, all 716. Let everybody enjoy it, man. I'm sure that those guys, a lot of season ticket holders, are looking around and seeing people that they've never seen before in that arena, and it's all good, man. The one thing I love is when they score a goal, man. Like the TV, when you're watching on TV and everybody going up and like just the crescendo and like how loud these motherfuckers get. I'm like, go ahead on, man. Like, get your party on. Like, they are. I mean, I'm seeing people stand up on the rush, as they're coming in. Like, a few people like. I love it, man. I'm so happy for the city of Buffalo and for the Sabres fans, because, like I said, 14 years is that's a long time, man, to wait for anything. It really is.
I'm understanding hockey a lot more too. I never played, and obviously I've watched the Sabres and I went to a bunch of games growing up. But now, like, I'm actually like, watching these games and like kind of understanding it. Oh, okay, that play, that's why they went there, and that's the kind of the motion they were in, and like, oh, that's how he got wide open in the front because he did like the give and go and like things like that. So it's making it a lot more fun in that regard too, where I'm kind of understanding a lot more and seeing like plays develop a little more, so I can kind of anticipate like, oh, he's crashing the net there, got to get him the puck, and like they get some the puck and they score, and it's amazing. So it's exhilarating. I like, I haven't ever watched games like this where I'm like watching routinely. It's like, it's a nice, like, you watch the period, you get a little break, go out on the porch a little bit, get back in, boom, second period, another little break, and then boom, and it really kind of goes nice. So I'm all for it. The city's buzzing. People are some disappointed that Sunday we didn't get that matinee slot. But we'll take the 7:30.
It's a school night. Yeah, it's a school night.
And it's it's just perfect. Buffalo, like, this is what Buffalo, right in the daytime. Get downtown, get into it, and we can rock. But hey,
don't start too early then Sunday.
We'll take the 7:30 and
don't start too early.
And be ready. They'll be so first two games obviously are at home. They'll have a game Thursday night while the draft's going on, and then they're off to Sunday, I believe. So they will be they will have a matinee, but it won't be at home. It'll be game 4 will be 2:00 next Sunday in Boston.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
So they're guaranteed at least that. They're guaranteed at least till next Sunday. If they get swept, they lose next Sunday. But if not, they're playing through.
From everything I hear, this team is too good to let Boston. I mean, now I know hockey. I know hockey just because of where I grew up, and you know what I mean? Like, I grew up out in the burbs, and you know that. So I grew up in the sticks. So hockey, I'm one of the only black kids in the neighborhood, period. I was one of the black kids in the whole fucking school district, to be honest, Star Point. And hockey was a big deal. So the kids played hockey. So I got roller skates and I played hockey with my friends. So that, so I know hockey. And from everything that I'm hearing about Boston is that they're a heavy team. They like to check, but they're slow as fuck. They've got a great goalie, but they can't really run with the Sabres. And I love the fact that a lot of people think the Sabres are just this run and gun team. They just, up and down the ice. But they play defense too, man. They got a good goalie with EPL. And they play defense. So I love
The
that.
penalty
The whole
kills
river
been,
hockey thing kind of took hold, and everybody's
penalty
kind of
kills
talking
been
shit.
great.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I think I want it to go past one round. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
If you waited this long, you should get a chance to go to a couple rounds, and I hope the fans get that for sure.
Me too. And I'm kind of, on like that. I'm finding myself defend them a little bit like I do with the Bills. And, because there's a lot of negativity, right? Because all these scars from this drought and
Sure.
the Buffalo's cursed and we're never going to win anything. And they're good now, but they're going to blow it. And then,
no.
then they won like
that.
they won like 30 games in that stretch. They went on that huge stretch, and then they had that little downfall a couple weeks ago where they lost like 4 or 5, and people were already back in like, oh, yep, see, typical. They're back to real life now, and it was like they were playing a lot of games in a row, and every team they were playing in that stretch was literally fighting for their playoff life. Like if they lost, they were out type shit.
Bringing the max effort.
It is what it is, and then they come back and finish strong, and secure the one. Secured the division in a place where Tampa Bay, you would have never thought that was possible, and the Canadians, who literally also went on a crazy run, but Sabres were winning every game, and they were barely making any move in the standings because Montreal and Tampa also won every night. But this team, what I've noticed, and again, I'm not a hockey, connoisseur or anything, but what I've noticed about is the well-roundedness of it. Like you said, the offense, the defense, the good goaltending, but they got like 8 guys with 20 goals.
Something like that. I know that they got like a bunch over double digits. I know that. I don't know the stats, but
and you got Tage Thompson, who's got a 40-40 season, and obviously our best player and killer in all regards. He's not even top 25 in points in the NHL.
Yeah, that's true.
And so with 80 points, 40 goals, and 40 assists, and he's not even in the top 25. And then that shows like how much else this team did. Like Tage Thompson's great, but we don't need 200. We don't need 110 points from him. You got a lot of guys that can give you 50, 60 points, and that's what you get. So yeah, it's been fun watching. The buzz is real. The buzz is very similar to obviously the Bills buzz when that's around. But it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for Sunday.
There's Sabre stuff around. Like you're driving around, you're seeing. Everybody's caught on, right? Yeah,
big time.
I saw Tops change the O and Tops to a Sabre.
Our sponsor, Queen City Vintage, obviously rolling out all the Sabres, and Sabres vintage stuff is cool. I think Sabres vintage stuff might be cooler than Bills vintage stuff.
You talking about like the black and red?
Yeah, the goat heads, obviously, and then even deeper, like the blue, but like the vintage blue, like that's just a clean look. I don't know, I like that. So man, good vibe in the city. Can't wait. The buzz is real. Now like there's sometimes a bitch to watch, but now all this whole playoff's going to be on network TV, ESPN, right? So you're gonna have ESPN, your TNTs, your NBCs. So you're gonna be able to watch every game and not have to find somebody's MSG app.
Big for me down here because I don't have that. What is it? Gotham MSG. I can't. I was like, man, I don't have that, man. So I would.
So you can just rip ESPN and it's on for you. And it goes on. Like another thing cool about this is it's extended. It's not just Sunday. And at the very worst, you get them for a whole nother week, and you're gonna be locking in for 4 playoff games that you haven't seen in 15 years, right? So it's a cool vibe. The buzz is real, and I think the team is about it. I don't think they're like just happy to be there. I think they legit think they're good. I think they legit think they're good, and they've proved that you can't push them around, and that they are going to fight with you, and they are going to score with you, and they are going to do everything they need to do. And hopefully the playoffs are a whole different animal, and they don't have that experience that some of these other teams do. But hey, that freshness might be enough to jolt them through, and almost that naive attitude.
You don't know what you don't know.
It might work in a good way. They might not feel the pressure and clam up, right? They just go out there and play freely. So excited to see what we're gonna have.
And it's Boston. I know that you don't go back to the Sabres, but the Sabres have a long history with Boston, and they're beating us in the playoffs and shit like that. So there's going to be no shortage of Sabres fans getting amped up for this one, and I expect KeyBank to be the roof to shake on Sunday night. So it'll be really fun. I really enjoy it. Now, again, DT and I will be back next week. Listen, we're easing into this thing. It's the season 6 premiere, but we're easing into this thing. you know DT and how we do it. We get ramped up when training camp comes and stuff like that. So we'll check in with you this next week for the draft to see who we picked first in the first round, and then what's going to happen in rounds 2 and 3 the next day and all the way through the draft. So we'll be back here, TGIF, next week. And then the week after, we'll recap the draft. And obviously the Sabres hopefully will still be going and stuff like that. But then we'll kick back again because then there's nothing really going on. And we'll be back at you guys ready to go for training camp. But really, DT, I am so excited about season 6. Again, shout out to my man Tal Wujik for that open. The open, like, you already know, DT, how long I've been talking about that shit. When he was doing the final touches, I was like, I'm like, you're a wizard. Anybody that can do that stuff on those computers and editing, like I don't. That's Greek to me. So so much respect and salute to my boy Tom Wujik because the open DT that was really dope, man. I really like it. I'm excited about season 6. I'm excited about our partnership with Queen City Vintage again. We've got some great stuff coming up. I've got cards. My boy, shout out to my boy Justin Sistrunk. He sent me DT this. I know it's gonna be hard to see, but he sent me a dope ass Andre Reed, and I am going to auction this off this year to a Lucky Bills fan. This thing is, it's so dope. It's signed to by Andre. So listen, we really appreciate Queen City Vintage. Appreciate my boy Justin Sistrunk helping me out with that card giveaways this year. We're going to do lives. So I know I say that, last couple of years, but we're doing lives. Like now that we've got everything set up, we're ready to go. We're doing lives from Al's. So listen, DT, I'm excited about season 6, man. I really am. And it's funny. I know you always say Super Bowl year. One of these years, the Sabres are like a prime example. Like one of the years, we got to be fucking right. Like we got to be right one of these years. Nobody expected the Sabres to win the division this year. Nobody expected. And I think that might be when it comes for the Bills. And I know not that we need to be the underdog because, I always push back on that. I like pressure. Pressure is fine. I'm cool with it. But man, maybe some shine is shining off the Bills, and maybe some people are paying a little bit less attention. Fine, no problem, man. I'm ready to go get one. Why not this year, DT? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, no, why not is completely correct.
Build your home on defense and go get this bitch. Like, go get it done.
Yeah, no, I'm not discouraged by any means. We were, if anything, we were a little more crumbled last year than we had been in previous years. And when push came to shove, we were right there in it and had a chance to, we win that Denver game. You never know what roles with what the playoffs had left in it. And it's right there for us. It's right there. Nothing has happened to get me thinking that we're not going to be exactly, in contention as we were. At 17, obviously, is a lot of that. We gave him a weapon he never had last year in 2. And, we'll obviously see what happens in the draft. I think we're doing the draft to get some sort of juice, right? We're doing the draft to get some diamond in the rough that's going to be a killer for us. So let's lock in. 26, 27, open up that new stadium, drop the banner in it.
Yeah, man. I mean, the stadium and all that stuff, we'll get to that in the offseason. Have an episode dedicated to that because it's been just a marvel to watch that transformation. And I know that people in Buffalo seeing it go up in Orchard Park, it's just I'm in awe. And the grass looks so luscious. I'm like, man, you could eat off of that. Like you could put a prime steak right on the grass and just eat right off of it. It's amazing. So I can't wait for all that. But we'll get to that down the road in the summer. DT, I'm excited for season 6. Welcome back, man. I really appreciate your partnership, man. I love you like a brother from another mother, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go, Bills.
Love you too, Rob.
Let's go, Sabres.
We're back, season 6. Go Bills. Go Birds. It's a good time. It's a good time for Buffalo, and I think the people are behind it, and the only greatness is behind it as well. So
yeah, man, I love it, man. Listen, enjoy yourselves this weekend. The tailgate report for me, we're going to be locked in real quick. Tailgate report, we're going to be locked in. I know that you just got back from seeing your folks in Florida, but what are your plans for this weekend? I know that it's got to be. It's just got to be crazy up there. It's got to be.
Yeah, well, we didn't know when the game was happening, right, until yesterday. So that was kind of rolling. I just got back from Florida literally yesterday. So got back to the office and rolling today. Tomorrow, just gonna get right. Got to unpack. Got to get right. Accustomed to this cold weather again. Just kidding. It's like 70. But looks like rain both days this weekend, of course.
Okay.
And then Sunday comes around. I think it's gonna be like a noon, 1 o'clock. Find somewhere to catch on to and.
Yeah, sit down
and lock in there until 7:30, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So not too late, that's better than a Monday night football game or something that starts at 8:30.
Right.
7:30. Usually they start at 7, and I've been watching now, Rob. So they start at 7 and they're done about 9:20
Yeah.
So starting at 7:30 with the playoffs, the game's gonna be over by 10 o'clock. You'll be able to get in bed, get ready to go, to work, and then you got to. The beauty of this is
Got another
you
game.
skip Monday and you're right back in it on game day Tuesday. So
I love it.
the week I think is gonna go real fast because of it.
Yeah, man, it should be great. Down here in Charlotte, the weather is getting hot. It's finally broken, so we're up in the 80s every day. So we got an action-packed weekend this weekend. Tomorrow's all full of sports and stuff like that. And then Sunday. I know Nate is going to want to watch the game, so I don't know where I'll be watching it, but I know he's going to want to be with me watching the game. So we'll find a spot for sure. Whether it be
does Al's rock Sabres too?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's
good.
Buffalo, so they'll have it on. They'll have it on. So we might go catch the game there or something like that if we can find a seat. So it should be fun. Listen, out there, enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Enjoy it. The party in the plaza or the canal side, wherever it is, DT's mad about. Listen, you could have two parties. Have two parties and go ahead and have a great time. Listen, I'm really excited about it. Enjoy it out there. Listen, out there, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills and Sabres. Thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a go Bills, DT.
Go Bills. Go Bills. Go Sabres.
I love it. I love it.